Alright, so while you were waiting there to come back to a part 2, I did the other squiggly line here on this here, and then I did the halo, and the halo is done using about a 3-inch piece of wire, and you just wrap it around the base of a pen or something, you know, to give it that hole, you know, for the halo, and then take the other piece, you know, you figure you made it about 3 inches long, so you made a little halo there in about 1 inch, take another inch or so and put it behind the wires that you put in the neck. I showed how to do this, but I got interrupted during my video. Somebody came in the room, so I had to redo that. And then take your little twist tie that we made earlier and glue that to the back. That holds the halo in piece, and that holds this in piece, okay? So now what we're going to go ahead and do, if you need more directions on that, just let me know, but I don't really think it's that much rocket science involved. And just kind of finagle everything to the front when you're done there. A little halo and a little twist tie. So now we're going to make the angel wings out of the raffia. And I take about 3 pieces of raffia, and I'm going to proceed to make a bow about the size I need for the wings. You know, I just take it for granted that some people have common sense. I'm not going to say cut, you know, 8.5 inches or whatever of raffia. Just figure it out, you know, how big the wings need to be. You know, kind of figure it out. Look at it in your head. You know, you all know how to make a bow. I'm assuming if you're watching a craft video, you know how to make a bow. I'm not going to spend 10 minutes on how you make a bow. And you just kind of finagle it so you think the wings are big enough. Okay, you think it's big enough? Yeah, look at that. Perfection. So, just cut off these ends. No ends. I don't like ends hanging. Don't need it. I want mostly the wire to show on this angel, not so much the raffia. And so, we put all this raffia. One thing about raffia is messy. That's why I don't make raffia angels. Okay. I don't have patience with that kind of mess. Alright, so now we're going to take this little bow here. And if you want to reinforce it so it doesn't, you know, come apart while people are messing with it or whatever, put a little bit of glue underneath that back thing. And here's a little tip if you want to get the glue off fast. Spin it in a circle. We're going to cut off that piece after. And put a little dot there. And, you know, stick it right close by or underneath where you got that tag. And just be careful about getting your fingers in that glue. When my glue gun gets hot, a lot of it comes out, so it's a pain. So I got it glue back here. Okay. I'm going to cut that other little piece off that's hanging. You go away. Go away. Alright. Now, just to cover up this neck area here, what I want to do is put another little bow right there. It doesn't have to be gigantic, but it serves a double purpose, okay? So let's take another piece of raffia. I got a thick piece here. I'll make a little bow for the front. And then just pull it away, pull it back until you got a decent sized bow for the front. Cut off all of these messy ends. Alright. Once again, we don't really want the raffia to show as much as we want the wire that's hanging down there in the front. So let's just glue this to the front of her. My hands aren't been in the way the whole time. Sometimes I tend not to pay attention here. Alright. Well, is it sticking? Okay. Hold it there for a second or two. A little bow underneath her thing. We'll finagle all this after. We'll make it work. Come on. Why aren't you sticking over there? And make it work. Alright. Now you could actually just leave it like this, and this is where I ripped my thing earlier. You lift it, you turn it upside down and poof it out. But once again, I told you, I'm a crafter that has very little patience, so I ripped it because I pulled too hard. And give that a little bit of crinoline going on, you know, for the back and the front. And then, you know, fan out these wings, straighten it out a little bit. And then she's going to be singing a carol here. Got the little wires hanging down there. Play with her a little bit, get her straightened out. Alright, so now we're going to go to the sheet of music. And again, just cut out a piece. And how you get a sheet of music is, hopefully you got some kind of a software program, unless you just got real sheet music around, you don't have nothing to do with it. But if you go to your software program, your printer, you go on there and print it right from your software program, and then it'll ask you if you want to use any kind of Avery templates or anything, and you can resize this down. If you don't know how to do it, ask somebody that. It's like trying to describe how to do brain surgery over the phone. So it's hard for me, but you just want some kind of music. If you want, you can draw it yourself. Just tea stain a piece of paper and cut out a little piece, and then on each piece do it. But I plan on making a lot of these, so I didn't really want to take the time to do that. Now, why I say this raffia bow has two purposes is because I put a dot right in the middle on both sides of the book. And how I get it to stay, is by pushing it up against the raffia on one side and up against the raffia on the other side of the bow. So then it looks like she's holding, the book. Now, and now it's time to fluff and fold and figure it out and get her all done. And I'm gonna wait for my glue to dry. I said my glue gun gets so hot. And then you can adjust your book, and there you have it. You've got a little primitive looking singing angel. Here's the first one that I did. And that's basically it. There's your primitive angels. Now, stay tuned because I'm making these. I'm making yo-yo angels. I'm going to be making doily angels. Probably even some bigger ones because I'm going to also make some tree toppers. I need one for my own tree, for that matter. When I go to display at the show, I don't have a tree topper yet made. Another thing you can do is I bought some moss there. You can put a little bit of moss on top of their heads for hair. There's so many different ways you can make these angels, and I just decided to do mine out of the wire and raffia. That's what I had on hand, and I think they came out pretty cute. I'm going to make a bunch of them and hang them on the tree, along with the chenille ornaments that I made. And I got some of my eggs there. My keychain eggs are still in the working. I still got my larger eggs. I got a lot of stuff to do. But every time I feel like, I see something online, I get excited to start something new. So for one time there, I had just about every project I was doing was not finished. But now, like I said, I finished. I showed you earlier that I finished a lot of, in my part one, I showed you how I have quite a few things done now. And finally, things are moving along. So I hope you enjoyed this video. And give it a like if you like it. And subscribe. I tend to go into real details when I'm doing my craft so that you can really get the idea and take notes. Some people, they go too fast, and I say to myself, well, where did they get that? And how much is that? And, where did they get this stuff? Now, the wire I got on eBay, just like about everything else I have in here. This is a little thicker than I care to use on here. It's originally used to make signs, that's why. I don't know the millimeter. I mean, it came in a plastic bag, and I don't think... In fact, let me check that. It's 20 gauge, okay? And it's a little bit bigger than I care to have. So if you have a thinner wire, it'd be even better to use. And you could even use the wire for the wings. I was going to do that, but this stuff is so thick that I, didn't want to use it. But you can use wire for the wings. You don't have to use the book, or you can have her holding something else. You can have her holding a little baby Jesus. You can have her... come up with your own stuff. That's what I did. Coffee Filter Primitive Angels is what I'm calling this little project, and we're going to see how well they go. And I'm going to be showing you my yo-yo angels real soon. I've ordered some rounds that were already pre-cut in gingham, and I'm going to have white satin, and on the front is going to be, I'm not sure yet, it's either going to be a flower or whatever, and they're going to be called angels, as in garden angels, and I'm going to have them on a stick, so you can put them in your plants, and they're going to be really cute. So stay tuned, I got a lot more stuff coming up, and thank you again for watching Prim and Proper Designs.